What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about how I overcame epilepsy and ADHD. So, growing up, I was a normal, healthy kid, free of any health conditions or limitations. And by the way, I'm going to be reading off my computer. I have information on epilepsy and ADHD that I'm pulling up, looking to references. So, I was a very healthy kid. I was always beaming with energy, very healthy, easygoing kid. Then, one day back in the summer of 2011, it all changed. So basically, I was at summer camp, Mellow Park Summer Camp in Pennsylvania, Beckville, Pennsylvania. And I was playing wiffle ball. It was a dull, gray, dreary, early summer morning. And I basically just was playing wiffle ball with my friends, everything was okay. And I started getting really dizzy, my heart started pounding, my palms were getting very sweaty, I started feeling tingles all over my body. I started spinning in circles and I was getting extremely dizzy. That feeling when your arm or your leg falls asleep? That's how my head felt. I didn't know what was going on. I was really panicked. Next thing I know, thud, hit the ground, and I blacked out. All my friends were asking what I was doing. Before I fell down when I was spinning, they were all asking what I was doing. Just trying to be my typical humorous self and fooling around, trying to be funny, but everyone caught on that something was wrong, and then I fell to the ground, and like I said, I blacked out. Afterwards, everybody was in a state of panic. My wiffle ball counselor called 911. My sister, who worked at the camp at the time, she was crying. She was really concerned. Eventually, my parents came along. They took me to the hospital, and we were all in a state of shock. I really didn't know what happened. I was only 11 years old at the time. I didn't even know what a seizure was. So then when they told me, I'm like, what? So a couple weeks later, on July 12th, 2011, I had my first 24-hour EKG, known as an electroencephalogram, or EEG, which was conducted to determine my brain's electrical activity by placing electrodes on top of my head. I went to the doctor at the time because I believed I had an abnormally high brainwave state. And he basically told me that to consume more sodium and that I may have had low sodium levels known as hyponatremia. But I knew that couldn't have been the answer because at the time I had a really poor diet. I was eating a lot of junk, a lot of sodium. I just put it behind me and I figured it was a coincidence or a freak accident. Eventually, later on that August, I started middle school. And then again, late September of 2011, I was playing football with my friends. Boom, fell right back down on the blacktop. Thought to myself, God, not again. Now I was really starting to get concerned. Last thing I remember was my classmates were yelling at me, asking what was wrong with me. I woke up again in the ambulance with a pounding headache. I had scrapes and blood all over my arm from falling on the blacktop. I had blood and a swollen tongue. I knew this cause of the seizure couldn't have been due to low blood sugar levels because I ate breakfast that morning. I just got done eating lunch. And, it was really starting to take a toll on my self-image. I just really did not want to face people, everybody coming up to me asking, hey, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Are you okay, buddy? What happened? What's a seizure? I still really didn't know the answer. I was only 11 years old. And I had it in front of the entire 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the whole middle school. So it's like everybody, I thought everyone would know me as like, that kid that takes seizures. I just felt inferior, it was really starting to take a toll on my inferiority complex. And then there are a few good things that came out of this, I learned who my friends were and who my friends weren't, the ones who stuck by my side. I just wish I knew the cause. So Eventually, in early 2012, determined to find the answers to these problems, me and my mom took me down to Danville, PA, at Janet Weiss Children's Hospital, where I stayed for a total of 5 days. So basically, they just hooked me up to an EKG, just kept me there to measure my brain waves over the course of the day. And eventually, my new neurologist at the time put me on 500 milligrams of an epilepsy medication called Keppra. So I was in the hospital for 5 days, and I came out, and that's when they put me on the epilepsy medication. And then, in January of 2013, I found out I had ADHD. So I was put on 40 milligrams of Strattera at the time, so I was having to balance the Strattera medication and the seizure medication. But things were getting better. When I was heading into my freshman year of high school, I was officially 2 years seizure-free. This was back in 2015. And the end of my freshman year, I was finally getting weaned off Keppra, my seizure medication, as I haven't had a seizure in 2 years at the time. I was super stoked. I was thinking, I'm finally going to overcome this now. And then the next day, happened again. I couldn't help but ask God, why? Why is this happening to me? Everything was going so well. I was sure I was permanently past my epilepsy. The thing about life is, when you're at your highest, you're going to get knocked down to your lowest. That's when it's imperative that that you stand back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Keep that positive faith that everything's going to work out. Like Napoleon Hill said, every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent benefit. The harder you fall, eventually you stay consistent, the higher you're going to rise. So all in all, as of this time, the time of this video, I'm almost about 3 years seizure-free. I've had 12 seizures in total, and honestly, I'm doing great now. And the thing that I could say about that, how I've overcome this, just faith. I believe it. I see it in my mind now. I don't associate myself as a person that has seizures anymore. I've been starting to eat a really, really healthy diet. And it's just changed the whole complexity of everything. And they say too about epilepsy, a very effective diet to combat that is a ketogenic diet, which is, basically a really high fat, low carb, and moderate protein diet. It's been reported by numerous studies to be very effective in reducing epilepsy, like I said. With the traditional high-carb diet, carbs are the body's preferred fuel source, and the brain eats a large amount of glucose from the carbohydrates. So, with the ketogenic diet, you heavily cut carbohydrates from your diet. Fat then becomes your primary source of fuel, and the body then uses ketones by burning fat. And by changing the main energy source from carbs to fat, the brain optimizes better, and it controls the rate of seizures much better. Thing is, I do consume a high fat diet. I consume high protein too, high carbs. But I think the biggest thing is just eating healthy, not eating that processed crap. It's made a huge difference. And I could say right now, I really believe in my heart that I'm going to be seizure free for the rest of my life. And as for ADHD, that's really gotten better too. I remember I just had such poor focus in class. I really struggle following multi-step directions. I'd be afraid to ask the teacher for help for fear of being considered slow, not being able to keep up with the rest of the classmates. This held me back greatly. Impulsivity is characterized by doing things without thinking, having a short fuse, being very impatient, being prone to accidents. That's one of the symptoms, as well as overactivity, fidgeting, inattention, impulsivity, overactivity. So basically the type that I had was attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And it was tough, I'm telling you. You know, I know some of you probably could attest to this. When you can't follow directions, it's really, really frustrating. It takes a toll on your confidence. You know, you feel inferior. My grades were suffering. They were really suffering. So this was back in 2013. At the age of 13, I was diagnosed with ADD. It's a subtype of ADHD, attention deficit disorder. And eventually, as of now too, like I said, I'm 3 years seizure free, and my grades just shot up. You know, I went from having poor grades in 7th grade, 8th grade. I had like a 3.8 GPA all throughout high school, high honors. You know, college, I'm going to be a junior in college now, my first 2 years of college. First freshman year of college was perfect, 4.0 GPA both semesters. And my 2 semesters in sophomore year for the spring and fall, I had about a 3.75 and a 3.9, so I have like a 3.88 cumulative GPA or something like that. And it's great. You know, I no longer have an inferiority complex. But here's the thing that we need to realize. It wasn't just the healthier diet. It was me changing my mindset. I felt as if I belonged. You know, I didn't rely on having to be seizure-free or free from ADHD in order to feel like I belonged. You know, none of us are perfect. We all have crutches. We all have problems, you know. Some more so than others. You know, other people might not have seizures and ADHD like I did. They might stutter. They might have severe anxiety. But the thing is, this can be overcome. Healthy diet, faith in God, belief in yourself, and it'll all work out eventually, you know. God does not give you any problem that you can't overcome. And the thing is, our greatest failures in life or our greatest struggles could lead to our greatest successes. I'm writing a book right now on this. I'm making a YouTube video on this. You know, I could attest to the fact that my dark childhood moments from epilepsy and ADHD strongly, manifested me into a more confident, more aware, smarter version of myself. So just keep the faith, you know, when dark times are coming, just see the light at the end of the tunnel. As everything is going to work out in your favor. If not now, then in the future. You know, oftentimes when things don't go our way, we just give up. We just lose our zest for life. No, but that's the time to use your pain, use your problems as motivation to help inspire others to overcome their problems. Because that's what I really believe the essence of life is, to help inspire as many people as you can, to help uplift as many people as you can. You know, tragedies, they change you for the better if you let them. They're either going to make you or break you, and let them make you. Let them make you into the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. All right, guys. So if you're going through any problems in life, you know, and it might be more serious than this. You might be missing a limb. You might be having a disorder that's a lot more severe than seizures or epilepsy. Just find a way to transmute your struggles into success, and you can do that by motivating others. Find the good in life no matter what, okay? I know it's hard. Maybe you're missing a limb, but if you could, you know, inspire hundreds of thousands of people, let's say you become a motivational speaker about how, you know, to never take life for granted. If you could become very, very happy despite a missing limb, then you could help teach other people, you know? I don't have anything wrong with me. If they're missing a limb and they could be happy, then me, with no disabilities, I could be happy in my own place of power. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. That's basically my story. Just keep the faith. Everything's working out for you. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Subscribe, comment, let me know what you want to see next.